Welcome to the latest This Week's Acca podcast, sponsored by Sky Bet Acca Freeze. I'm Tom, joined by Jake and Jimmy, as ever, to run through the schedule. Coming up on this episode, then, we've got 5 home teams backed for success in our Acca at above 10-1. There's plenty of reasons to avoid the Premier League, and we're also finding out just where Jimmy gets his paint from. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, all through Sport and Life Football social media channels. And remember to keep it fun. Never bet more than you can afford. This podcast is 18+. Please gamble responsibly. Last week's Acca, then, us two were away, not together, but we weren't here. We left Jim Rod and Joe in charge.
Yep.
What happened?
Well, it all went to shit. It was a grueling episode to actually build an Acca because it was just such a terrible slate. What I'm doing here is I'm blaming the teams. The teams that we picked who should have won, they didn't bloody play ball, did they? But
usually how it goes on these things.
Basically, the bets were shit, the Acca was shit, and it lost. The less said, the better. But you guys in the comments have not been holding back.
As you said, the less said, the better, but our loving audience are not quite the same.
They're letting us have it. And fair play, Nigel, he's put, you know what else you could have done in 88 days? Messed up then. You know what else you could have done in 88 days? Picked a winner, exclamation mark. That's the joke, Nigel, by the way. Highlight how long it's been without a winner.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
You get it? He's put absolutely useless. If you look closely in the studio, you can see brown envelopes off the bookie's winking face. Which reminds me, they're a bit late with my payment. Have they done you yet?
Look, I can't disclose contract information, I'm afraid.
In all seriousness, though, we are backing this every week, aren't we?
Yeah,
we would love a winner because it's getting a bit ridiculous. As Pearlwig's highlighted, he's put, this is getting comical, lads. 24 losers in a row and counting. Me too, I'm counting as well, Pearlwig.
Mondays was my favourite. We have the Route 1 episode on a Monday, right? Which is like the short version, just quick fire if we can get anything for Tuesday. I felt really good about it. And in the National League, Eastleigh had a man sent off early in the second half, which completely did it. Gateshead were 2-1 up, threw it away 3-2 at Woking. And I think I saw on Twitter that Rob Elliott got sent off, who's the interim manager, for swinging at an opposition player. Peak Vanarama. Stevenage won, though. His little...
throwing a little sidestep shimmy into his fist pumps, which I am all for.
I'm glad you've seen the positives in your losing midweek Acca.
Any one more comment and then we'll move on and just put this terrible run behind us, hopefully.
Well, I've got 2 more things for you.
Right, okay.
Pearlwig, 24 without a winner, including the Route 1, 95 days, 2,280 hours. Now, can you guess, based on his scoring rate at Kenilworth Road, which was 5 in 58 minutes, stop looking, you cheater.
Haaland.
Yep, 5 in 58 minutes. If he continued at that rate consistently over every hour of the day since we last had a winner 95 days ago, how many goals?
If he just consistently didn't sleep because he's a robot.
I think it's like 1 every 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah, 10,400.
Wow, what a guess.
I've seen it, so I'm not guessing.
11,800.
Well, it helps though. He scored 5 in 58, so he's basically scores 5 an hour.
Yeah.
A rate
that
of...
would have been a better way of working it out.
Or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact hours.
Just under 4,000 hat-tricks. And quickly, before we get into the good stuff, Gakpo got in touch. I don't know if he's any relation to the Gecko or Gakpo. But he said, seriously, Joe, take a back seat on the pod. Was a good listen and a laugh when you was off all the time. Pod works better as a free as well.
Yeah, so Joe's not here in this episode.
It's all Gakko's
We
fault.
say we listen to every comment. We've acted on it.
Yep.
Or have we? What's the biggest disappointment before we move on? The terrible losing run of this Acca that has come close a few times, to be fair, or the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience? What would you say is the biggest disappointment of the two? If you had to rank them, where would we go? Willy Wonka experience, Acca. That's happened this week, and people lose faith in Twitter and it's overloaded with bots and ridiculous, opinions. And then this happens and you go, this is why I'm on this app. There we go, we are back.
Do you know, I saw a good tweet and I want to see it now. I want the Oompa Loompa behind a magical desk to do the Scottish Cup draw. From there. How good would that be?
With Rod Stewart.
With Rod Stewart next.
The irony is, if those people just started selling tickets for this experience now, they'd be fucking millionaires because everyone would be going to this thing if they sold it now. Let's move on then. That's, as ever, get in touch. As we always say, this week then, again, for the third week in a row that we've all been here. The Premier League's got loads of games. What the
Loads.
hell is all that about? Is it like the FA Cup, the Cups, or what?
Something to do
But
with the winter break that they put in.
potentially, because that's why the
Yeah.
FA Cup got
That's
shifted
why it's got put
to
midweek, isn't it?
midweek.
Yeah.
We've
There's
just
a bit of
finished
Europe
that
as well.
mid-round. Yeah.
West Ham,
always a
Brighton,
bit of
Liverpool, Villa. They're all playing Saturday. They're all playing Europe on the Thursday. So
6 games at 3 p.m. 6. It's like the good old days, isn't it? With them all at 3 o'clock.
Football with football.
Yeah, exactly. I'd throw it open. Are there any here that kind of grab our eye? Is it more of a case of why we want to avoid games? Or, I mean, the one for me, watch Leeds against Chelsea last night. Leeds made 5 changes, and Chelsea, we also made 5 changes. Your changes aren't the same.
their changes
Leeds-
were worth about
Yeah.
600
Leeds were
million.
absolutely
$1
brilliant in that game.
billion.
Conor Gallagher again came to the rescue for Chelsea. 1-3-2. It's still 11-10 for Chelsea away at Brentford. Is that a bit big? I thought that jumped out to me as the pick of the slate of Premier League games. Chelsea 11-10. I mean, I'm still clinging to the fact that they are better than the results suggest. And eventually one day they'll start converting the chances and they'll be fine and yada yada. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look into this a little bit. Chelsea beating Fulham twice, Palace twice, Luton twice, Burnley, Sheffield United this season in those games. West Ham are the only team above Brentford that they have beaten at home this season. 6 defeats, 3 draws in the other 9. And Everton, the only side who sit below Chelsea to beat them when the Blues were the Chelsea. They're both Blues. Chelsea were the away team. So to me, I was kind of like investigating it a little bit. And I was like, okay, so Brentford typically don't perform well against those above them. Chelsea on the road this season typically perform well against those below them.
Yeah. The way
Make
you
that
put
work.
it there, you convinced me that there might be a good bet, but then I'm just thinking, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You smooth son of... You've almost made me want to back Chelsea away. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, fuck off. I'm not having that.
Look, if this was Brentford of last
off.
year, 2 years ago, it sometimes is that simplistic, isn't it? You know, the debate that I don't know. I think we're clinging on to a belief of Brentford from previous seasons, where they're good and Tony's back and this, that, and the other, but it's well in the relegation mix.
And
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was going to say they've had a really tough schedule, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 6 games they've played City twice, Liverpool and Spurs. I know they've played West Ham, played a good Wolves team, went there and won. And the performances have been okay. I mean, they put up a decent fight against Man City in that Monday night game.
yeah, that was brilliant.
good
They
game,
were
wasn't it?
really good in that game.
And against Spurs, it was a 3-2. Yeah, I just don't trust Chelsea. And I do think Brentford, I mean, I rate Brentford fairly highly. I know they're missing a few key players still, but I think they could cause some problems. And do you remember the game at Stamford Bridge between the two teams earlier this season?
No.
Brentford absolutely dominated them 2-0.
It was earlier in the season, though, wasn't it? How far back we talking?
Yeah.
Not that far back, I don't
this
think.
up.
I can find
Slept
Let me look
since
this
then.
up.
You've hell was that
Little
last?
rascal.
October, end of October. So it's a while.
Ages ago.
But they were still missing key
Different world
players,
back
and
then.
I think it's the styles that might be interesting. As a clash of styles, Brentford maybe playing a little bit more direct, causing Chelsea some problems. I personally wouldn't be backing Chelsea at this price.
No, me neither. Although, case for the Blues, Ben Mee's a doubt. Ethan Pinnock's definitely out. And that back line, he's chopping and changing it. He doesn't know his best back line. And apart from City, where they was brilliant, they make a lot of errors and concede a lot of goals to Brentford. Final point on the matter, but I'm with you, Jake. No thank you.
To be honest, I had a feeling that looking at the Premier League slate, and I wanted to talk about it anyway, I can't see any of the teams. I was hoping Chelsea would be the only one. I can't see any other teams going in here. Obviously, there are going to be some wins. We're not going to see 10 draws across the weekend, but price-wise, it's just so open and unsure. Everton, West Ham, God knows what to expect from them. Fulham, Brighton. Fulham have been good at home, but Brighton, God knows they can score 5 one week and concede 5 the next.
Did Brighton play in Europe on Thursday? Is it next Thursday? Yeah,
That's
you
the
see,
thing for me.
that's-
With,
yeah.
This is the one I would be looking at maybe as just a single. Like taking Fulham to win. They've had a fresh week. They're coming off the back of a win at Old Trafford. Brighton played midweek in the Cup. They play Thursday against Roma. Then they've we see it with with European managers. They get into the deeper or further into Europe, and they do start to prioritise European competitions over league. And Brighton have got a mountain injury list.
Thomas done for the season, isn't
done
he?
for the season.
Oh, I wonder what
Pedro's a doubt as well. So there's every chance he rotates and really does focus on that game in against Roma. So Fulham at 7-4 to win that look a little bit big to me, but like you said, I don't think there's anything Acca worthy here.
Liverpool at 1-2 away at Forest.
I think they're priced perfectly. They will win in a.
Their children
loads
turn
of
out.
goals.
Their children are brilliant.
No, but,
Third, fourth choice 11, and Salah's back. People like that.
Darwin might be back.
Darwin, Soboslai, players are coming back for them.
Yeah,
Maybe they're the other one. I don't know.
maybe.
Yeah, a bit short for me. Well, not short. I think they're just perfectly priced, so I wouldn't want to go near them. The other one, if we're talking singles, Wolves at St James's Park. Warned you about them against the big boys, didn't I? Before they beat Tottenham.
Well done, mate. Yeah.
Jim Rod.
Where's you got your own chant rather than a trumpet.
Jim Rod. Stop it. I'm trying to talk about Wolves. Newcastle laboured past Blackburn in midweek, took them an hour and 20 minutes plus penalties. So I don't think they'll be fresh for this game on Saturday. And Wolves shown they are more than capable of rubbing shoulders with the biggest and best sides in the division. So 3-1, might be worth a single.
I don't want to agree with him again, but I agree with him again.
Nobody wants to agree with Jim Rod all the time.
Newcastle have conceded 2 or more goals in all the last 8 Premier League matches, which is mental. They've conceded 4 against Luton. They've obviously nearly 7 XG against Liverpool, 3 goals against City, 4 against Arsenal last night. They looked really bad against Arsenal as well, didn't they? So yeah, I definitely think this could be a good opportunity for Wolves. Who would have thought at the start of the season Newcastle would be looking over the shoulder for a bottom half finish? It's at 10th at the moment.
Interesting.
We'll take a quick break and then we'll start to hopefully build an active team. But just
do
to
our
recap,
job.
one bet. Pick one of those. I know we've just kind of thrown out a lot and we've said a lot of as a single there. So out of curiosity, one team then you'd have. If you were kind of pushing, you go, I really want to include a Prem team in my weekend Acca or any bet or whatever. What jumps out to you? I'll put forward Chelsea again. I just think odds against back Chelsea, odds against any non-other Big Six team.
Fulham for me, that 7-4 price. I just think Brighton are going to rotate, and Fulham got players back from AFCON. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, go Wolves.
There we go then. Let's actually take a little break then and then look if we can build an Acca from the remaining EFL fixtures. Right, let's look at Acca building. Before we do, during the break, for some unknown reason, Jimmy the Punt has just got out a deck of match attack cards and said, who do you want?
I didn't get a choice.
No, I didn't
You got
really.
a
I've
choice.
currently got a shiny version of Rangers defender Borna Barisic right there. Who have you got?
Salzburg player Straninja Pavlovic.
We will actually start building an Acca, but what's going on?
We're building an 11 with these cards first.
What's this all about?
These are just
Is
some
these
of my
like prompt
swaps.
cards? Do we have to look at Rangers' price this weekend? What's going on?
These are just my swaps. I didn't know if you'd want one. I've got
Nothing
I've got nothing to
swap you
swap
with.
with
Do you want
either.
money? Is this what you were hoping to swap?
just a gift. I've got Pires Cult Hero as well, but I don't think he's actually a cult hero, to be honest with you.
What do you mean
I
after
think they
that?
dropped a
After
bollock
that
on
missed
that.
penalty,
Robert Pires at Arsenal. You're saying cult hero.
I'm saying he's not. I'm saying that they've dropped a bollock there.
You're saying he's just not a cult hero. Like, would you say he's a legend, not a cult hero?
I'm thinking that Arsenal squad, maroon kit, bit earlier, hybrid days. My cult hero is Ray Parler, if I'm thinking. Because he's that perfect blend. A little bit
I think you
shit,
can have more than one.
bit of a boozer.
You can have more than one in one
bit of a
team,
lad.
surely, you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's agree to disagree. I guess.
Okay, that's a very diplomatic. And on that note,
let's move it on. Bolton.
Let's
We'll
get
go from Salzburg.
picking teams. Yes, go for
From
it. Take it away.
Salzburg to Bolton. Obviously, they lost in midweek, which might put a few people off. Away at Wigan. Wigan, fairly good side. They've been solid all season, especially at home.
We've spoken about them as a home side before on this podcast. Remember that?
Very dangerous. And I know Bolton got absolutely whooped by Blackpool.
Whooped.
Again.
That's a good word.
He's absolutely loved it. They got whooped at Blackpool, but again, Blackpool are a really strong home team.
Joint best in the league, I believe, aren't they?
Is that right?
At home,
there
at
we go.
Bloomfield.
So again, tough place to go, Wigan. So I'm willing to forgive them. They now play at home to Cambridge, a Cambridge team that still without a manager. Neil Harris obviously left last week to go back to Millwall. Harry Core is the man in interim charge.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, he's a former Sheffield Wednesday player back in the day. And yeah,
In the day, he's not that old. He could still be playing now, couldn't he?
yeah,
be that old.
he's under 40, but it was like 2008, 2006
So I
maybe when he
remember
played for
from,
Wednesday.
Late 2000s, yeah.
But yeah, they're on a terrible run of form at the moment. Lost to Bolton in the reverse. They lost to
38.
Peterborough, lost to Stevenage. 3 teams that are all up there. And I just think Bolton are going to have a little bit too much for them. They need a bounce back as well. This looks like a good opportunity for them to bounce back. And I think that the price actually gone the other way. They were 1 to 2. They're now out to about 6 to 10 with some bookmakers off the back of that defeat. And I just think that this is too big a price. We're going to see a reaction from Bolton. Obviously, they've got a game in hand at the moment on Derby, who are level on points with them in the top 2. They need to get back on the horse.
9 days ago, these two played.
Horse.
9 days ago at the time of recording.
It's the saying, mate. Get back on the horse.
They need to get back on that horse.
Yeah. Down on the track.
The title horse.
Less than 2 weeks ago, these two played. Bolton won, didn't they?
Shit.
So, and that was Neil Harris's last game, I think, actually, before his shock departure back to
It was
Millwall.
a shock, weren't it?
I like this.
Do you know on Neil Harris quickly? He promised the chairman of Millwall, who sadly passed away. Have you heard this? No. That if the opportunity ever come back up to manage Millwall, he'd be there in a heartbeat. I thought that was quite nice, though.
Yeah, of course he
I'm
would.
sure Cambridge will agree.
Yeah, it's a shit situation for them, but it's like, kind of like Harris can't say no to the chance to go back.
He said there's a stat that he's managed in every EFL division.
Managed in every EFL division
in the same season.
I
well,
love the fact that he's gone up the divisions.
Yeah, up the divisions in like 4 months as well. This is not like it's like he was Gillingham, went to Cambridge, so he left Gillingham in like October, went to Cambridge in December, went to Millwall in early February. So
tasteful.
a hell of a career progression straight up. I like this.
I like it as well. I ain't got anything to add apart from Cambridge only had 1 shot on target against Stevenage. I think apart from Stevenage being brilliant shithouses, I think they're missing Lyle Taylor, veteran.
Well, he
for one more
He
game.
got sent off against Bolton in the reverse.
Well, this is his last game
It was
of his
late on, wasn't it,
suspension.
when they were 2-0 down.
Yeah, so I'm all on board with this. Absolutely.
Should we take Bolton then as our first pick? I think this is Bolton get mentioned a lot on the podcast, but they feel like, as the table shows, at home against anyone, really, you're always kind of looking towards them, and even at short prices, you can be fairly confident that hopefully they will deliver.
Let's do it.
First pick then of this week's Acca, we're taking Bolton for a home win over Cambridge. We have rattled through that, distracted by Borna Barisic. Jim Rod, where else? Do you want to take it away?
Yeah. I'll stay in Sky Bet League One, the very top of which.
Yeah.
An absolutely beautiful price. Portsmouth, I've got penciled down 3 to 4 at home to Oxford.
Yeah, like this.
Not going to waste much time on it. They're like 8 to 11 generally. 4 to 6, there was as short as when I checked yesterday. I should have probably checked again before we came on, but I think they'll be trending towards that 4 to 6 price, maybe less come kickoff. And last week, very reluctant to take them on the road against Charlton, but at home they're a different beast, baby. 17
Charlton
games
as well, isn't it?
Hey?
Rejuvenated Charlton as well.
Yeah, back.
Jonesy
Jonesy boy's got him cooking. But at home, 17 games, 11 wins, 37 points. No side has more. Happy?
I like it. I think, frankly, I've just added them to the bet slip there. Portsmouth and Bolton around a 17 to 10 double. That's 2 home teams who are chasing promotion. Portsmouth as well. I mean, a few weeks ago we talked about the League One title, and like you could pick any of 4, maybe 5, of teams who could do it. Since then, Bolton have slipped up, Derby have slipped up, Peterborough, Jesus Christ, collapsed massively. Portsmouth have just gone, right, that's it, head down. And 7-8 points clear at the top of the table now. They've massive daylight between them and third.
Well, they had a wobble themselves, didn't they? That kind of let everyone catch up with them. Festive wobble. They've won 6 out of an unbeaten 8 heading into this game. Won 4 of the last 5 at home as well, which I think is... However they've done it, they've, again, got back on the horse.
Yeah. It's the
and
form at Fratton Park, innit? That's going to come in.
Well, I mean, this is...
I am sceptical about having them away. I said that last week. But...
Oxford under Buckingham have drawn a lot of games. I think I don't know exactly, but it seems that every week. Look, every time I see Oxford's results, they seem to be drawing a lot of games. That would probably be my one little doubt. But the fact is, they now go to the best team in the division away from home.
Yeah,
you just trust them to just get the job done, even if they're drawn a lot. I suppose then you could say it's an Acca buster, but then it's not like they're winning all the time either.
I just can't get over that price, to be honest with you, Thomas. I think it's too big, mate, and I don't think it'd be
I'm on board.
around.
I'm happy to side with it, despite the fact that the top of League One's just, Jesus Christ, is
Beautiful.
bizarre at the
good, isn't it?
moment. Fundamentally, when you build an Acca, you just want to pick two good teams at home to kick it off, surely.
Yeah, and you're right. Like they have drawn quite a lot, but lost at home to Leyton Orient last week. A really strong team at the moment. Leyton Orient, they are trending. But how many? We've got 11 games left, and they're on the outside looking in Oxford. Like draws. I know this is probably not the game where they're going to go for a win away at Portsmouth, but at some point they're going to have to.
I'd be more reluctant if it was Liam Manning's Oxford.
Yeah, let's get him in.
Can we do it then?
Yeah.
There we go. We'll take a little break because after disregarding all the Premier League teams and brushing them aside, we've got two from Sky Bet League One that we like the look of a lot. The first two picks then of this week's Acca, we've got Bolton against Cambridge and we've got Portsmouth for a home win over Oxford.
One thing we've all got in common is having that one leg of an Acca let us down. From spending your winnings in your head to cursing that last-minute equaliser that broke your heart. But it doesn't have to be that way. Acca Freeze from Sky Bet gives you the power to freeze a winning score early. Even if that team goes on to lose, Sky Bet will settle it as a winner. It's time to take action. It's time to Acca Freeze and end the game your way. Visit skybet.com for full terms and conditions.
As ever, let's do our Acca free selections. Then
It's chilly in here.
Oh, it's got cold, hasn't it? Our Acca freeze picks.
I'm here all week.
Can get the job done. We've got the little safety net there. I always throw to you, but I'm going to go first because there's a team there at 2-1. Jump off the page to me.
Shit.
There's an Acca freeze pick this week. Lincoln at home to Stevenage. Stevenage, of course, very good. Lincoln, 9 unbeaten under Michael Scubala. 5 wins from their last 6 as well. Superb form. Backing them to continue that at home. Jake, take it away.
Going back to the Premier League, Wolves at their price is 3-1. The amount of goals Newcastle are conceding, you can easily see Wolves scoring a couple, and I think that price is massively too big.
He's taking Wolves off you. Where are you going, Jim Rudd?
Genius. Newport home to Mansfield.
Ooh,
Big
yeah.
old price. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but in 7 games against sides above them, Newport have lost exactly zilch Rooney. And I've got a sneaky suspicion Nigel Clough's feeling the pressure as the front runner. Started just to drop some points, so tough place to go, Rodney Parade.
I know they've lost a couple, but they've been really good form at home, haven't they? Newport, as you said there. Absolutely. There are Acca freeze picks then. Back to building our Acca. So far, then, it's Bolton and it's Portsmouth. The theme of that is it's two teams at the top of their table. They're at home, fancied for a win. And I'd like to continue that trend, if I may.
Please do.
Please. Again, I've said them before. We've said them plenty of times, and why can't you? Wrexham, floating around 1-2, 8-15. Home win over Accrington. If you listen to the Route 1 podcast, please do. Walsall played Accrington, and I said it about Walsall in that one. We didn't include in the Acca. That was the one that won. But for the reason of away from home Accrington, I'm just not that interested in getting involved with them. I think they're a middling bottom half team in the away standings, if I remember that rightly. And it was, what did I say on Monday? It was 1 win. So it's now 1 win in 10 away from home in all competitions. I think that was away at Forest Green as well. Wrexham, still the best home side in the division. I know they've stung us recently when we bat them. Bradford, Dom, sort it out, please. Producer Dom, the Bradford fan. But for me, yeah, this price, again, we talk about prices looking right. I think a lot of people will side with Wrexham. Home team. This has to be viewed as a must-win for them in their promotion hopes to League One.
Absolutely, yeah. And I do think it's worthwhile mentioning that they've had 3 away games in the last week, Wrexham, back to back to back. Obviously, they don't travel well, which is why we've seen them fall away a little bit in terms of the title race. Lost 1, drawn 2 of those, but at home, just phenomenal. They're just must-back material at home every single week, pretty much. Just to put it into perspective, you look at the home table right now, they've got 38 points. Next is MK Dons with 37, but Wrexham play 2 games fewer. So if you're going to get on a points per game basis, they are streets clear of everyone else in this division. And as you've said, Accrington away. just struggle in general. This is one I had down straight
I
away.
didn't realise that. You said the 3 away games there. I didn't look at the fact they had Forest Green, Gillingham and MK Dons. That's a
tough schedule,
run.
yeah.
Obviously, Forest Green are at the bottom, but they've got Steve Cottrell, who's a good operator as a manager.
He's a smooth.
Gillingham, who have turned things around, and MK Dons, who were brilliant under Williamson.
Yeah, and they'll just be desperate to get back playing at home, I think, Wrexham. Home comforts, get another win under the belts, and should kind of thrust themselves back into that title mix because they're not out of it yet, are they? It's so tight up there.
So freaking tight up there. That is true.
Looking at you, Jimmy. I think two of us are on board with Wrexham at home to Accrington.
I don't know. Phil Parkinson, after an absolutely outrageous campaign in the 50s, regressed back to tight, which is low margin, tedious shit.
What do you mean low margin? They've scored 44 goals at home in 16 games, conceded just 22. That ain't low margin.
1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0.
How many of them are away games?
1, 2, 3,
At
4,
home,
5, 6.
3 of the last 4 wins have been by 2 goals or more.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm talking about recently, home and away.
But they're at home.
I know. I'm just talking about recent form. I'm just giving you a counter argument. I'm not just going to come in and be like, I'm 100% on board, because I'm not. I'm just a bit reluctant with Wrexham's recent results. They have been boring the life out of me, to be honest with you. And it might be because they're playing on the road, but I think they're gearing up to be a massive disappointment with the recent form, the way they've been playing recently. I know they're only 3 points off the top of the league, but they should really be winning this league with the money they chuck about and everything going on. But if you two are happy, I am happy, because what you said about them playing away, that's fair enough. But I've just been watching them recently and feeling a little bit sick.
Now they've dropped out that top 3 as well.
Chasing. It's easier to chase, isn't it?
Yeah, to me, it makes me in a weird way more confident that they should win this, really, because it's... Any EFL fan knows, if you're top of the league or whatever, and you've got... you're chasing promotion, and then you've just got a random mid-table team turning up, they're going to do you. That's just how it works. Leeds fans, Wigan, 10-man
Especially with
Wigan.
the target on
the
your
season
back,
under Bielsa, people needed therapy after that. It went that wrong. But the fact they're out of it weirdly...
What happened that first season?
So Leeds were well in the mix.
Yeah.
On Easter Monday, Wigan turned up, who hadn't won away, I think, since 1980.
Yeah.
Leeds went 1-0 up, Wigan got a man sent off, and Wigan won 2-1.
Yeah.
That was it. Game over.
Yeah.
But that's an example of what happens when you're at the top and they're in the mid-table.
I seem to
Wrexham being
remember
out of it gives me that more confidence.
Someone arriving as well that season, weren't they? Was that the season? Someone arrived?
Oh, here he goes.
Remember?
Was it Basham?
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
Who
Yeah, I
was.
remember that game in the rain. Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful. I
Back
remember
on
it now.
track.
Basham arriving!
Are Wrexham arriving,
arriving!
though, into the Acca?
Yes,
Nice,
please.
smooth
Yeah,
transition.
get him in.
Let's go for Wrexham then. The third pick of this week's Acca then. We're following a bit of a pattern that we hope leads to success. We've got Bolton, we've got Portsmouth, and then dropping down into League Two. It's Wrexham for a home win over Accrington. So then 3 home teams, 3 short price ones and 3 on paper that should win.
Should.
Would you like to take us away with any other potentials here?
Yeah, so I've got it between 2. We can't have both in because we won't get to the 10-1 marker that we require. Again, it follows the same theme, the home
Have them and
favourite.
more.
Just keep adding teams, yeah. It's Derby to beat Port Vale and Peterborough to beat Exeter. The argument for Peterborough is that they've refound their form. I think they had a little wobble, as we see every team.
A little wobble.
Wobble and a half for a title chaser.
Their face planted.
Well, they lost 4 in a row. It's not an extended period. But yeah, four straight defeats. Again, you look at some of the games that they lost. The Wigan game, they absolutely peppered them. They lost the reverse at Exeter. Was there a man sent off in that one? There was. Yeah, they were 1-0 up, got a man sent off, then 2 own goals to lose that. Wickham scored 5 somehow. And then Blackpool won away from home, which they very rarely do. But yeah, they seem to have steadied the ship a little bit. They got a bit of revenge with Blackpool in the, what was it called? The FA?
Johnston's paint.
Jason's
trophy.
paint.
Bristol Street Motor
Jason's
Trophy.
paint. It's Jason's paint trophy.
Jason's paint. Bristol Street Motors Trophy.
Whoa. A little wobble. I'm just pulled up. They went 5 without a win. Wickham put 5 past them. A little wobble.
Yeah.
And if we ignore Jason's paint, you say they're back on form. They beat Cambridge 1-0.
What's that draw that they're doing there? Did you not? Oh, you've ignored Jason's paint altogether. Yeah, they got a
fuck
win.
Jason's paint. I couldn't give a toss about it.
They're in the final of Jason's paint. But either way, they've seemed to have calmed things down a bit. Back-to-back clean sheets. Beat Cambridge last weekend. Exeter, not very good travellers in general. They've picked up a couple of wins recently. I do prefer taking Derby, though, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Purely because of
Jumps out
Port
to me for
Vale.
two. Yeah.
Derby lost in midweek to Charlton. Charlton definitely
Second mention, rejuvenated Charlton.
Nathan Jones rejuvenated.
I think at the start of the season, we all agreed Charlton had a decent squad. They obviously just couldn't put it all together. And
I didn't agree. I thought that
Weird
was stupid when I heard
club,
that.
Who said that?
Thought you guys were stupid. They ain't got a decent squad. I thought they were going to do terribly.
That's some serious after timing right there.
Well done, Jim Rod.
Jim Rod. But either way, Port Vale are on a shocking run of form at the moment. Really bad. Winless in 10. They've lost 7. But interestingly, they've lost all the last 4 away from home. And they've all come against teams in the bottom 5, like alongside them.
That's pretty damning. Do you know what happened to them against Fleetwood?
Yeah.
2-0 up.
Yeah.
And then
Obviously, game state comes into it. But game state and getting battered in the second half is like
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
staggering watching that back. Obviously, naturally, when you're 2-0 up, the opposition's coming to come on.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit. But then it's on you to protect what you have. They were
Or score another one and put the game to bed.
they were battered in that second half.
Stockley, late brace. Their Port Vale second goal as well. I'm just looking penalty. I haven't watched the game. I'm not pretending I know what's what, but that is pretty damning.
Yeah, especially what's such a big game as well down there. Win that game and you're within 2 points of safety. It's a shocking indictment of the state of affairs, really.
League One's so mad
It is
that,
absolutely
like,
crazy.
I've only just looked at the table then and gone, all right, Derby are still second. I know Derby, Bolton and Barnsley, Peterborough are all in some kind of mix of, Derby and Bolton. I know those two are ahead of them, but
Oh, yeah.
big chance again. This, someone needs to, like Portsmouth have done, someone needs to just grab by the scruff of the neck, to give it a cliche of this league.
Come here.
And frankly, with the greatest respect, home games like this, if you're not winning these games, you cannot complain when you're in the playoffs.
You can't. And yeah, I am leaning towards yes because of how shite Port Vale are. But I watched Derby at Oakwell the other week, and I've got to say, I was really disappointed.
I think
Is that because
really
Derby were bad or because Barnsley were pretty good?
No, I was disappointed by Paul Warren. He matched Barnsley formation wise, sat in Hurahan on set pieces and Big Sonny Bradley like there was a threat, but Hurahan had to come off after an hour and Barnsley just kicked on from there. I'm just saying I'm disappointed from a team going for the title with 4,000 fans.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't go for the game. He just set up to be a shit house.
I have concerns for Derby next season if they got promoted.
Yeah.
I can worry about that in August. And frankly, I'm not going to worry because I don't care. But like in terms of like a betting perspective, that's a problem for another day.
Yeah.
Regardless of the footballs, hardly.
It's not related to
It's not like superb, but they're clearly just still winning games, whether it's quality or what, irrelevant.
The other thing to consider is, do you know who came on at Oakwell? And I'm just checking now, see if he got any more appearances. Oh, he started.
Dwight Gale.
Dwight Gale.
Dwight Gale, yeah, started.
Good at football.
Bloody good at football for that
I didn't
level.
realise how
yeah.
good he was in Championship. Yeah. I can't remember the
Carried
stat,
that West
but
Brom team that year, didn't
some
he?
goals.
Well, some at Newcastle, didn't he, when they went?
I think we're leaning towards Derby.
Good news is as
Port
well.
Vale of the two that we suggested, because you said we can only have one of them.
I think we can only have one, yeah.
I think we're more
Yeah, I
leaning
want
towards Derby by the
Derby.
sounds
I
of
want
it.
Derby in,
Exeter haven't been
Shit.
terrible either.
I've got another point.
Whoa.
I've got another good point on Derby.
Please, have one more good
come on,
point on
keep-
Derby.
keep-
The win at Stevenage. I know they played at home and lost to Charlton since, but Paul Warren said that were brilliant. He loved how on board the crowd was, and if he gets that, I know it's not the loveliest ground, but it's full every week. If he gets them on side, it's a
the
huge,
cliche, isn't
yeah,
it?
It is.
Derby,
It is.
Well, Derby's advantage in a title run is the fact they've got Pride Park and Derby fans, or whatever it's called nowadays. But it's the cliche.
Rampant
You've got to go for it, But that's a huge factor in home
It
games.
does seem to have got them on side, yeah.
Put them in.
Island.
Yep.
Derby. So if we add Bolton, Portsmouth, Wrexham, and Derby together, which is terrifying me because on paper
is.
they should all win. Treble, the fourfold, around 5-1. We're gonna have to. I think if my maths is correct, we're gonna have to push even money now to
Oh, I can
get
do
to
that.
that 10-1.
I can do that.
Talk to me then. What we got?
Walsall League 2, they host Donny.
I have this Walsall, yes.
Lovely price. You fancied them in midweek, didn't you?
Yeah, beat Accrington, yeah,
Yep.
which they did.
So I think they are top of the form table. They've emerged as a front runner in a congested playoff race. I think essentially it's for that 7th spot.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
It's insane, isn't it?
There
It's
is
GFL, isn't it?
5 points between Walsall in 7th and Bradford in 16th. 5 points. It's outrageous.
It's absolutely mad, isn't it? I said it before, but I think objectively the funniest outcome would be Harrogate getting and win the playoffs.
Yeah.
Having been annihilated at points and not being particularly great. But Walsall, they're 7th now, aren't they? They
11 to 10, unbeaten in the last 5. They've won the last 4. Mansfield, they played, by the way. Morecambe, I put Walsall, but they didn't play Walsall. Fuck knows who they played. Accrington as well. And all of those wins, apparently, according to my notes, deservedly so. But I also put Walsall played Walsall, so I don't know how trustworthy it is.
Do you also know who's unbeaten over the last 5 games?
Doncaster.
Doncaster.
Right, yeah, that is...
Yeah,
that is a point. It
This
is
is
a
probably
caveat.
the influence on the price, though, that I think Walsall would have been shorter without that. And just to add in what I had on this game, I was looking into it. If you look at the current top 14, away from home, Mansfield are the only team where Doncaster have got something. 1-1 draw, 9 defeats from the other 10. So away from home against the better teams. Not saying they've played absolutely turgid teams during that run, but
Yeah.
it's like they scored 5, but it was against Grimsby, who we spoke about cannot defend at all.
I've got that exact note down, and do you know what else I've got about on that point against sides 14 for above? Their goal difference is minus 16. So it's not just like they're losing, they're not even competing. The other thing to consider is the majority of their points have come against, it's the same point, but the majority of the points have come from sides below them, 16 of the 18 available, and the majority of their points have come at home, 25 of the 48 available. So they're good against shite at home, against good teams away. I don't think they're very good.
Are Walsall a good team, or have
Yes.
they just had a little bit of a good run?
I think having seen them against Alfreton in December, thought, Jesus Christ, what's going on with this team?
Yeah.
Massive credit to their ability then. After that game and after winning, or I think the replay was part of that run, but having going to Alfreton, which, let's be honest, it's the cliched tricky FA Cup tie.
Ooh, Impact Arena.
Impact Arena on Tuesday night.
Bloody
Was it Monday
hell.
night? Pitch isn't particularly great. A team that are just going to bombard you with long balls into the box. They got one lad who could throw the ball about 80 yards.
Lundy.
Get it launched, lad.
Adam Lundy.
So they managed to navigate that, got through that tie. They then went on a good winning run, had a little dip, bounced back with a winning run, and are now well in playoff contention.
All right.
But then what I will say, actually, the final point, if you add them in, above 10 to 1. Of home teams remaining, and you look at the potentials, maybe them. Or
I was going to say, have you got something else for us? 'Cause if you're not confident.
I'm surprised, actually, I had them down, and I totally forgot about them. Crew. To beat Morecambe.
Morecambe are a very unpredictable side.
3-game
And
winless
also-
run now. Crew in the title mix. Thought you'd be all over this. You lovely Bell and Crew.
Yeah, I do, but it's one of them where I really like him against better sides, but against the Dross, I just don't think they're good when the onus is on them.
Full clarity, I like Walsall at like even money.
Yeah, I've got to be
even
honest.
money. I just think it's Doncaster's form has probably played into it, but knowing across the course of a season, they've struggled away from home at anyone remotely in the top half or around that mix.
Yeah. And I don't think they've been fortunate to win the games. Just like, look at that. They've absolutely dominated Accrington.
This is an audio, so just tell us what you're seeing on your screen,
Showing a
please.
momentum chart.
No, I've watched the highlights. I've watched the games. I've watched every minute of Walsall this season.
Fuck.
Well, we spoke about it before, though. I will
You have
say,
someone who works
just to reinforce
on site that
this.
has watched every minute. Michael Beard.
Look at the teams Walsall have beaten. I know we said against the top teams, they're beating Mansfield at home, they're beating Wrexham at home, they're beating Crewe, then add that in Accrington, Morecambe, so they're a nice range of teams there.
Yeah.
They've also lost to Newport, drawn with Sutton.
Had that little dip and then
yeah.
they're over. That's the only 2 times they've dropped points, or
I know-
not one since the Alfreton replay
The argument's
9
good.
home games ago.
I think it was probably maybe a month ago I wanted to back them against Accrington at home when it got postponed. Was it ice or rain or something? So I'm definitely on board with Walsall being a half decent team. It's just the Doncaster having the, I don't know, have they turned
Your
the
teams that
corner
they
a
have
little
beaten,
bit?
they beaten Wimbledon at home. The away wins, the one away win was against Grimsby. Awful. Salford, who, God knows, I think they probably had the better chances in that game. And then Sutton as well, who are down there.
Yeah. No,
I'd be all over Wolves,
think-
I think.
I just think the 2 bullet points are Walsall are good and they deserve to win the games. Doncaster are terrible against good sides away from home. Minus 16 goal difference. Yeah. Come on now.
It's also, you mentioned it earlier, bit of pressure on Walsall now. They're sat in 7th. They are you mentioned how many teams are stacked up behind them, ready to pounce.
Pressure's not always a bad. Some teams thrive on it though.
teams.
You don't. You can't assume that pressure's always bad. I know we spoke about it, but
I don't think they're looking over their shoulder. I think they're looking at Barrow too.
to be honest though, if you said at the start of December, by the way, you'll be in the playoffs in February, fuck off. No chance. No
Get
chance.
outta
No, it's not
here.
like obviously they want to keep hold of it, but it's not like it's you set up pre-season. You go, we have to win the title this year. You know, it's kind of we've been in really good form. We've thrown ourselves into the mix. Pressure's not on them. The pressure's probably on other teams who at the start of the season in that mix definitely had playoffs in their sights.
You say that, but Michael Beardmore, Walsall fan, tipped Walsall to win the league on site. So he obviously saw
you can't
something
trust.
that-
He's always saying the Blades will win every week. You can't trust people.
Hey,
He
by the
does
way,
that just to make
18 to 1
himself
Monday.
feel good. Yeah.
Arsenal.
Just
worst bets.
Like, it sounds like Walsall are going to go in, but my other team that I had that was an odds against price that I would be looking at backing is Millwall at home to Watford.
No, I'm going to poo-poo this and I tell you
Don't
for
poo-poo
why.
it. Let me finish it. Let me
Larry and
finish.
Ishmael. He's on
finish.
nice.
Watford have won 2 of the last 10. They've lost 5 of the last 6, and the only wins come against Rotherham. And Millwall have obviously just got Neil Harris in. Slight change of style back to the way in which Millwall should play with the players that they've got.
Yeah.
Go to Southampton, get a win. Confidence is back there, and this looks a prime game to make it back-to-back wins against a Watford team that are really flailing. And I think the 6-4 price is too big.
You might be right, but do you know what? I think that's a really good pick. It might be better for a single though, buddy. Yeah.
It's funny because I think the same about your Walsall pick.
Feels
a good 1.5 pointer.
Millwall feels the bigger gamble.
I think Millwall's a
we just don't
massive
know. We
gamble
just don't
because
know.
It's a bit of a gamble,
It's one
but
game where they've had don't get me wrong, a
They
really
were
good
brilliant.
result.
They were brilliant.
Having watched Neil Harris's Millwall
Yep,
a fair
yep.
bit,
the only concern
whether
for
the
me
results
is
do it match it up, I don't know. But against top teams, they always
they're not a
about
top
them.
team, Watford.
Yeah,
Like,
and this is exactly Duffman's point, and I'm jumping on board with it as well, because stylistically, Southampton passing the ball around, Neil Harris, 4-4-2, let's just shithouse
missed
something.
the word in between there.
4-4-2.
That's it.
Watford,
Yeah.
2 blockheads. They're going to clash in stylistically.
Yeah.
Valerian Ishmael's head's on the chopping block. Another defeat, and he's gone. I'm sure he won't want to lose his job. They've also got Emmanuel Dennis spearheading the side. I don't care who he's playing for. He's a good player, and he's pretty good at football.
Those two are the same thing.
And he's good at football as well.
Is he? Third time. My only not concern, I guess, but I think there's every chance that the ship might sail on this kind of price for Millwall in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Because
It's basically if
they
you
are
want to
gonna
gamble,
find form.
I'd probably gamble if I was,
An idiot.
building like a long list, and I went, I'm gonna have £1 on something stupid at 2001. I'd probably just go, Millwall, 6-4, fine, because it's the gamble there. I'm going to say I feel more comfortable with Walsall just on long-term, season-long numbers and stuff like that, rather than kind of gambling on Millwall on a really good performance, take nothing away from the fact they beat Southampton away from
got
home.
a nice body of work of Watford being shit though.
Yeah, so Millwall though.
But
Should we just?
I mean,
we need to get out of here, right? Where we
Did
going?
you have anyone else down on your long list
There
as
you
a
go,
potential?
buddy.
You're not even. You're not like Leighton Orient.
No.
To Bristol Rovers.
No,
No.
got a thing about Bristol Rovers.
Do
Weird.
you know these teams that we've got?
Yeah.
We've got 4 sides that should win in a point at top of the league. Like, they are odds on to win.
Yeah.
Nobody in the top of any league can buy a fucking win at the minute. We are insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Walsall, let's get out of here. Get some
What
dinner.
did you
Take Walsall.
Just out of interest.
He's showing me Colchester v Stockport. Colchester draw a lot of
Colchester
games.
draw
I'm
a
not saying get in.
lot of games.
Because you back Stockport this kind of price quite a lot, haven't you?
Yeah,
But
Colchester.
It
and the
sounds like
Cowleys
we're
are
leaning
joint.
Walsall.
Let's
You
say
made a
Walsall.
good case, and they are a team in good form. So
Don't think about
It's five.
Walsall.
It's 5 home teams, 5 playoff chasing home teams, and at this part of the EFL season, that can't go wrong. Never does.
Can it?
Can never go wrong. Should we take Walsall as the 5th selection?
yeah, let's round it
Yes,
off with
please. Yes,
Walsall.
please.
There we go then. The 5 selections then of this week's Acca. 5 home teams. As I said there, 5 promotion chasers as well. We've got Bolton to beat Cambridge. It's Portsmouth to beat Oxford. Wrexham to beat Accrington. Derby to beat Port Vale. And finally, from Sky Bet League 2, it is Walsall to beat Doncaster. And as we say every week, remember to keep it fun. Never bet more than you can afford. Please gamble responsibly. Jimmy loves it when you get in touch with us on social media in the comments on YouTube. If not, search Sporting Life Football on social media. You'll be able to find us that way. And as we say, head over to sportinglife.com/football on Friday. You'll be able to find the link to back that fivefold at an enhanced price. And I've got a plug as well. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Please be nice about the run.
Be mean.
On Spotify, iTunes, or your chosen podcast provider. We'll be back as ever next week.